Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today we're going to talk about a great search and rescue program, Project Lifesaver International, and also the Pilot Club of Lancaster and how this all works. So right now we have, with the Pilot Club, we have Cathy Cielinski. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And Jean Weglarz. Thank you for being here. So what is, first of all, the Pilot Club of Lancaster?
Well, the Pilot Club of Lancaster is part of Pilot International, which is a service organization that began actually in Macon, Georgia in 1921. Here in Lancaster County, our club was established in May of 1947. So we've been around for more than 70 years, promoting friendship and service, and more recently focusing on brain-related disabilities and issues. We've established a proud history. Right. We were responsible for bringing Meals on Wheels to Lancaster County. We have a program called Brain Minders, which reaches a message to young children and elementary school age about wearing their helmet, protecting their brain for life, making sure their parents and they buckle their seatbelt when they're in a car. But we felt the need in more recent years to consider a really strong and important program known as Project Lifesaver. Now, Project Lifesaver is throughout the country. They are a nonprofit organization. They began in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Okay.
But after some years of planning, which Cathy will share with us, our Pilot Club of Lancaster made the big decision. We took a deep breath and gulped and said, we can do this. We can bring Project Lifesaver, which helps in many ways with those who have a brain-related issue. Okay. To potentially save their life.
This is so important because if I'm reading this correctly, we're talking about Project Lifesaver being a search and rescue program. Now it aids individuals, this is the part we need to know, their families and caregivers, so it is all of them, who wander off as a result of what Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, developmental disabilities, and other cognitive challenges. Wow, that's a huge undertaking, and that's so important.
Yes.
Right, Cathy? Tell us more.
Yes, you're right. It truly is a safety net. So what Project Lifesaver International offers agencies like our police departments in collaboration with our service club, the Pilot Club of Lancaster, is the opportunity to allow us to place a transmitter, a watch-like device, on a bracelet or on the wrist or the anklet or an ankle of an individual who lives with some type of cognitive challenge that may cause them to elope or wander from the safety of their home, school. You may be out in the shopping center or elsewhere. And what happens, or the safety net, what it provides is that the police that have been able to be trained because their departments agreed to the commitment of this extra service that they provide. If an individual wanders and we call 911 with the Project Lifesaver emergency, the police grab their equipment and search and rescue from where that individual was last seen and then work from there to locate the individual. And there's so many layers to Project Lifesaver, but our club, along with so many stakeholders in the county, including our police, our 911 workers, prior to even launching it, we had many conversations with the emergency management team in our county and many search and rescue agencies to determine if this, number one, was necessary in our county, which it was and is, and also was it feasible? And yes, it has become a very feasible public safety program.
Wow, there are a lot of movable parts here, aren't there, Jean?
There are. First and foremost, our Pilot Club of Lancaster had to raise some money so that we could be in conversation with the police bureaus. At the same time, we had to find those individuals and families who had an affected individual who would potentially benefit from Project Lifesaver. So thanks to the leadership of Chief Puglisi in West Hempfield Township and his experience as an officer both in Lancaster City and where he is now in Hempfield, the word was brought to the community West Hempfield was, I believe, Kathy, the first police bureau in Lancaster County that said, yes, we will work with you, we will allow some of our officers to be trained, and we will help find those folks in our regional area, which we serve, which is several Hempfields, but just in general terms, find those families and begin the program.
Yeah. And Jean, if I may add, also when Chief Puglisi and the West Hempfield Police Department team agreed to take this on as the lead, the decision was to actually train the entire Northwest zone, because what we have come to understand, at least I know I have, is that our police departments out here in the county, in our Lancaster County communities, are organized by police zones.
Okay.
So the whole Northwest zone became trained from, like Jean said, West Hempfield out to Elizabethtown, north to Manheim, down towards like Columbia, out towards Columbia, and so on and so forth. So the whole Northwest zone launched in October of 2012 after years of fundraising, planning, strategic planning, and lots of collaboration.
Yeah, so there really is a need here in the county. Tell us about that need.
Yes, we actually did some research, realizing that we have a high incidence of children with autism.
Okay.
In our various communities, and we know that from the data that we are able to secure from schools and other agencies. We also know that we have a very high percentage of individuals who are mature and senior-oriented, senior citizen-oriented, whether they live in a home, like a residential home, or some other, like a community home or the like. And the youngest children and our older adults are often the most at risk. Yet we have individuals who are enrolled who are in between those generations.
Sure. So it really covers a wide span.
We have some young adults. Yes,
right. It covers a wide span. Boy, there's so many layers to this. So what we're going to do today, thank you for laying the groundwork for what this really is. We're going to talk to two of the officers and talk about some of the training, how this works, and then we also are going to bring along a parent that we can talk about the difference that it's making here, and also how you can get enrolled in this program as well too. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing. We're going to take a brief pause and we'll be right back, so stay with us.
If you are a Lancaster County business or nonprofit, we want to tell the community about you. Your product or service is of value to the community, and we want to spread the word. Your nonprofit organization has valuable information to get to the community. You have an event that the community needs to know about and support. LCTV 66 can help you do that. Whether you have a 30-second message, a short vignette, longer form story, or informational piece, Lancaster Community TV can get the message out to the community on Channel 66 and on our YouTube channel. LCTV 66 offers you the opportunity with special packages including underwriting, sponsor messages, and programming to reach our thriving community. For more information, call 717-394-LCTV or email info@lctv66.org. LCTV is about you and our community. Lancaster Community Television, LCTV 66 is your local connection.
Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about the Pilot Club of Lancaster and Project Lifesaver International, which is really a search and rescue program that aids individuals, families, and caregivers for those people that wander off. What's great about this, it's been since November of 2017 that it's been here in Lancaster County, 18 municipalities. And with us right now, the two most recent additions in Manheim Township, we have Officer Natalie Littlehale. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And in Lancaster City, Officer Erik. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. You volunteered for this. So what made you volunteer for this particular project?
I'm our department's community resource officer, so it seemed to segue perfectly with what I do day to day. So it's a perfect opportunity to be out in the community and help out even further.
Absolutely. What about you?
Yeah, same. We we have a lot of residents here in the city, and this is being police officers. Of course, we're out there to help people, and this was another tool at our disposal that we can use.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, you had to go through some training for this. What was that like?
It was fun. It was actually a lot of fun because we started off by learning about the equipment that we were going to be issued, and then a lot of it was hands-on, was the practical, get the machines out, hide the transponders that, that Kathy showed you, and then go find them. And we were all throughout the city in the course of 3 days, and they were in every location you can imagine. And we were able to find things in the yard beside the city police station, in the garage, and then as far away as several miles on the other side of the city. And we're able to gain confidence in that training that the machine does work, you can trust it, and we put it through a variety of tests, and we're able to find the hiding transponder.
Okay, so the individual wears one of these that we discussed, and you have the other equipment here. What is this, and how does this work?
Sure. So this is basically a radio. This is a radio transmitter.
Okay.
The best way to describe this for those folks who watched a National Geographic Channel, and you see the folks out there in the safari trying to track that big lion that's been tagged.
Right.
Basically, that's kind of what this is. It's a radio transmitter, and it's better actually than GPS, because this will, if you're in the basement, let's say we're in the basement of a police station, this will shoot through walls where a GPS signal might not pick up. We can track folks out to about 3 to 5 miles here in the city. As things open up out in the country, we can track up to about 8 to 10 miles.
Oh, okay.
So that the radio transmitter will pick up that signal, and we just point in the direction and try to get a location of that subject.
Okay. I see you've got some headsets here too, don't you?
We do. So we can also go mobile with this device, meaning we can take our police cruiser and put on headphones, attach it to this. There's a antenna that we can put on top, and we can drive around to cover more ground faster.
Okay.
We can cover more ground faster and find that loved one a lot quicker.
Right.
We typically, I think during training, we found all these transmitters within 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
So as long as that caregiver gives us a call in a timely manner when that loved one has wandered, we can find them in a short amount of time.
That's excellent. So the way this works then, is it a 911 call?
It is.
Okay. And then it gets put to the area, and that's where you would be contacted. Is that correct?
Correct. They, at County Radio, they already know there is a list of people that are registered with Project Lifesaver, and they're in each of the different jurisdictions. We have 3 currently in Manheim Township. So if one of those parents have to call 911, they say, we're a Project Lifesaver, participant, and this is our child's name. And County Radio has a special code, and that code is actually what's dialed into this piece of machinery, and that corresponds with the transponder that's on their wrist or on their ankle. So we're able to immediately dispatch any of our 8 officers that are trained, and we can head right out and put that code in and start the search, as Officer Pannone said.
That's great. And this really makes a difference in the safety in the communities, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Especially with folks with dementia, the special needs folks who are enrolled in this program. If they run out of the house and just their underwear or boxers or and especially this time of the year, they've only got minutes before hypothermia sets in, and we can find those folks in a very short period of time in most cases, as long as we're notified in a timely manner by the caregiver.
Right, and that's what's key. It's being aware of what's going on and then putting this into action too.
Absolutely.
So in doing this training, there were other people obviously that wanted to be a part of this in the departments too, correct?
We did. We both took the training to be trainers, so we have the ability to go back to our department. 3 of us went through the training, specifically for Manheim Township, and then I came back and trained 5 more. So that was how it made it more efficient for us to train as many officers as we could in Manheim Township.
Okay, and what about the city? How many people?
Sure, we have about a dozen folks trained up, a dozen officers trained up in the city. And we have 4 shifts in the city, 2 rotating on days and two night shifts. So we try to have somebody on each shift So if the call comes in, an officer can grab this gear and go out and find that person.
Okay. And it really is, like we were saying before, to be connected. So the other thing we want to encourage anybody who's watching who may have an individual that could really use this. Talk a little bit more about the value of that, why they would want to do this, and who all it would include.
Well, as you know, as they were explaining the different special needs, you know, all the brain traumas, the, you know, autism, anything that affects the way you're able to communicate, the you know, your ability to say where you are and who you are, and just your, you know, the idea of eloping, you know. So I think this would give any parent or caregiver just that sense of confidence that I'm not, you know, just on edge every second of every day. I know that I can take a breath, you know, and maybe run in and make a cup of tea for myself and not have that panic all the time, that there's something there. There are some rules in place that the participants must follow as far as checking the equipment every day. They also have to have constant contact with, you know, the person. They can't just go to work and hope that their parent stays in the living room. There has to be somebody with them all the time, and that's part of the rules and regulations that is explained to them when they participate in Project Lifesaver.
Okay, and there is a bit of charging with some of this equipment too, right? I think so.
Charging as in
battery and that sort of thing.
Yes,
yeah.
there's a changing of the battery every 60 days, and the, you know, the pilot club comes in and they meet up with the families.
They're
and
good.
It actually is. It's a really fun experience, and it's a good time for. I usually try to show up, so our Manheim Township kids that come in, they get to see me, and it's fun to just check in and see how they're doing. So yeah, that's a lot of fun, and I think that also helps to build confidence. All of our people are children right now, but we hope to expand it to, you know, the senior group that has Alzheimer's, or, you know, we have a couple people that recently just suffered a brain trauma. So we're looking at what can we do for the next person.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. But it is good for the caregivers and the families to realize that the police department is very involved, and we know who these kids are. We know, hey, this one goes to this school, or hey, we know you live over on this street.
Yeah.
And we do make sure that all of our officers know that these are the kids that are enrolled in the program. This is where they are. This is where they go to school, and this is what you can expect, because the application actually comes with a lot of information to help us.
That's great.
So that is, yeah, it's very helpful that if they do disappear, if these kids like water and that's where we go, or if they like to go play on the playground, well, maybe that's a place that we're going to send officers that maybe don't have the equipment right now, but they're able to be out in a cruiser and they can at least start looking and just be another set of eyes.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for all of that information. Thank you for what you're doing too. This really makes a difference in the community. So if someone's watching and they think, well, they may have a need for this, call. Find out if you fit into this, because this makes a big difference, and it helps with what you do to protect us. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a brief pause. We're going to talk to a parent and how this made a difference for her too.
If you are a Lancaster County business or nonprofit, we want to tell the community about you. Your product or service is of value to the community, and we want to spread the word. Your nonprofit organization has valuable information to get to the community. You have an event that the community needs to know about and support. LCTV 66 can help you do that. Whether you have a 30-second message, a short vignette, longer form story, or informational piece, Lancaster Community TV can get the message out to the community on Channel 66 and on our YouTube channel. LCTV 66 offers you the opportunity with special packages including underwriting, sponsor messages, and programming to reach our thriving community. For more information, call 717-394-LCTV or email info@lctv66.org. LCTV is about you and our community. Lancaster Community Television, LCTV 66 is your local connection.
Welcome back to Behind the Lines, and now we are with the parent joining Kathy and myself. We have Amy Breslin. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.
So you have used this, we're talking once again Project Lifesaver through Pilot Club of Lancaster, for your two sons who have autism. Tell me about that experience.
We joined Project Lifesaver when they were 5. They are identical twins, both diagnosed with autism, and they both did not at the time understand safety, so they would run off and oftentimes in the community we would bring along a TSS or a helper to go along with us, but it just wasn't a great situation. And even in our house, we would have to worry that somebody might leave the door with chain locks everywhere and stop signs on our doors, and it still was a concern.
Sure, safety, yeah.
Yeah, so the school district emailed me some information about Project Lifesaver. We got a hold of Kathy and the ladies and got the boys on the program.
Okay. Well, this program has been going on in our area since 2012,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So what is the process? Once she reached out to you, what happened
Excellent.
next?
Right. So what we do is either drop off or send in the mail an application. We ask the caregivers, the family members to return to us so we can review the application as a committee. There is a Project Lifesaver committee that's as part of Pilot Club of Lancaster. We rarely say and turn to a family member or caregiver and say that your family member does not qualify, because anyone who's looking for this support, they know what it looks like and sounds like to have a family member who may wander or elope. So then we move through the process, which is interview, completing a very extensive data packet that would give the police officers and any emergency response individual enough information to know about the ins and outs of that individual. And then at that interview, we traditionally enroll the possible participant
Okay.
immediately, and then get that information to our police, into the 911 system, and then hopefully a deep breath for
And
time.
that's what it is, a deep breath, isn't it, Amy? So you've used this for how long now?
5 years.
Okay.
I've called a few times. We called, most recently I called, and my neighbor from the street behind me had him, and the police officer on the 911 line was able to tell me that someone else had called and said they had a child at their house.
Okay.
And they reported it immediately to the police station. So thankfully he was found before we had to get the equipment involved in all of that.
Yeah,
So,
that's good. Now you were saying too that your one son still uses it and the other one doesn't. Explain that.
One of my sons is, although they're identical, he's much higher functioning, and he did learn safety and does do a really good job listening about staying with mom, staying with us when we're out, staying with his teachers at school. The other one, Sean, is still lower functioning, not very verbal, although he can tell you his name and address and my phone number.
Oh, good.
He was taught very well.
Yeah.
He still doesn't understand, and sometimes he does it, he's one of 4 children, he does it for fun and attention.
Oh.
So he's a twin. When his brother's around, it's a game. And so
Okay.
I just looked down at the weather one morning at the bus stop, and he was gone. I had no idea where he was.
That
the bus
quickly,
pulled
right?
Up, and I sent Connor on the bus, and I had to tell the teachers I don't know where I'm calling Project Lifesaver. So
Okay.
yeah, so that was one of the most scary moments of my entire life. Thank God he was in a safe place. They could go anywhere.
Right. And
so-
this makes a difference. What would you say to parents or to someone who may have an older person in their life that could use this service?
I would say it's just been a wonderful thing for us. We've also made wonderful friends. The ladies in the Pilot Club are just fun to see every 2 months. The kids get such a kick out of going and visiting the police station and getting Sean getting his band changed, and it's been wonderful. And I should mention, we get a little card that has his transponder number on it.
Oh, wow.
We get several copies of that.
Yeah.
So our church has one, our school has one, we have one. When Nana comes to town, Nana gets one. I mean, everybody gets a card. You can make as many copies as you need. We have one on the fridge, one in my wallet. At any moment, we have his transponder number.
That's excellent.
To call. Yeah.
That's great. Now, I know that there's a cost with this,
There
but
is.
you make it so that no one gets sent away.
Absolutely. We never would want money or lack of resources to inhibit any individual or any family or caregiver who needs a safety net from Project Lifesaver. So we work very closely with families, caregivers, with agencies, and we will make it work. So money should not be a deterrent.
And that's what it is. It's a network of people that you work with too, because we just talked to some of the officers as well. And obviously the schools are connected with this. It's all about the well-being of citizens here in the county.
It really is.
What don't we know about this that you want us to know, Kathy, that we might not have touched on?
I appreciate that question. There's a lot that I think we can talk about, but I'll give you a couple of really key points. Number one, we would not be sitting here talking about Project Lifesaver in Lancaster County without the commitment and the ongoing collaboration and support of the police departments, the chiefs, the police, and all the different titles that they hold, sergeant and corporal, in 18 of our municipalities. With that said, we still have a part of Lancaster County that's covered by municipal or jurisdiction police that we need to expand to, and those areas we really need to continue to work and nurture. And we have applications on hold for families and individuals who would love Project Lifesaver to be in their community.
Right.
The other piece is we then need to move to the state police, because so much of the exterior or the peripheral of Lancaster County is covered by the police. And then the other point is that our police are our best networkers, because they, as the police officers probably shared, they know their community, they know their families, they know their individuals, and they share Project Lifesaver and the information, and they refer those in need to us, and we will be with that family, and we will get that individual enrolled as soon as possible. It really does take a village.
Yes, it does.
And we're blessed in Lancaster County with an amazing village.
Yeah. So one of the ways that we can help is to spread the word.
Yes.
Right? Spread the word and let people know who may be able to use the service.
Right.
And details about that. And you're easy to find.
Yes, we are.
So tell us how.
So we're on Facebook, Pilot Club of Lancaster. We have a website, just Google sites, Pilot Club of Lancaster, and you can also make a phone call.
Right.
717-572-2682.
Okay.
Pilot Club of Lancaster, and talk about Project Lifesaver.
Yeah. Is there any final thought you'd like to leave us with, Amy, with this? Because this has really changed your life, hasn't it?
Yeah, just that I'm really grateful that we got the information given to us. There's so many things I have to go find. There's so many things available to me, but I don't have the time to look for all the things available.
Right.
I'm just really grateful that the school was so wonderful to send us the information, and that everybody was willing to help.
Yeah, it does help you
us
breathe easier.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Life is good. Any final thought from you, Kathy, before we sign off?
We're always looking for more members
Okay.
of Pilot Club, because it is community service. We do the
right.
fundraising, we do all the service behind it. We really don't want to put any more burden on the police. We would just love them to be trained as they are and be ready to respond, search and rescue, and find. So we do all the work. If anyone's interested in the Pilot Club of Lancaster, check us out.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you so much today. Thank you for coming on and explaining this. This is wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we hope that you've learned some things today too, so pass it on. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, reminding you to look behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.